Philidor defense, exchange variation, 4.nx-d4 Nf6 5.Nc3 b7. Smooth. One player took the advantage and never let go. White really outplayed black in that one. Black had a good opening, but white was on another level. White was a cut above black in the middle game. Sharp games are frequently the result of starting with the king's pawn, since it dominates the center and frees up the bishop and queen on the light squares. The Pirc defense begins with d6, controlling the e5 square and preparing for nf6. The dark square bishop is made available once d4 completely takes control of the center. nf6 advances the knight and engages in an attack on the exposed e4 pawn. nc3 defends the e4 pawn. This hits in the middle and prevents the opponent from gaining ground. This poses a risk of winning a pawn. That's good. It is a fair deal after all captures. Recaptures. b7 develops the bishop, supports the knight on f6 and prepares castling. This offers to exchange pieces of equal value. It is the last book move. As a result, the bishop grows and gains flexibility on the long diagonal. It is ideal. Castling gets the king to a safer square, out of the center of the board, while also developing a rook. Castling kingside tends to be safer because the king is further from the center. It is good. A powerful play. It is quite good. This keeps the material balance in check with good commerce. It is ideal. Backs off. It is ideal. This develops a bishop off its starting square, getting it into the action. It is best. Castling gets the king to a safer square, out of the center of the board, while also developing a rook. Castling to the same side of the board as the opponent avoids some of the attacking associated with opposite side castling. It is good. Not the finest, this. It is incorrect. That is a logical response. It is quite good. It is a fair deal after all captures. That's good. Recaptures. It is ideal. This prevents an assault on a pawn that may have been taken. It is ideal. The queen is therefore moved to safety. That's good. While not a mistake, that is also not the wisest course of action. That's good. By doing this, a bishop moves out of its beginning square and into the action. It is quite good. Now that the rooks can see one another, they can defend one another. That's good. Although white lost their edge, the game is still almost evenly matched. It is incorrect. There were worse maneuvers, but there were also much better ones. It is incorrect. This deters an assault on a pawn that is weak. It is quite good. A rook enters the action after developing outside of its starting square as a result. It is ideal. The rooks are linked by this, making it easier for them to work together in the future. It is ideal. The pawn is now on a square that is safer. That's good. By moving a rook from its starting square, this activates it. It is quite good. The knight can now control more squares as a result. That's good. What I would have advised is that. It is ideal. That's a decent move. That's good. It's alright. That's good. Perfectly on point. It is ideal. A wise decision. It is quite good. While not a mistake, that is also not the wisest course of action. That's good. This misses a chance to improve a bishop's square and broaden its range. It is incorrect. This loses a chance to imply that winning a pawn is possible. It is incorrect. The best choice is this one. It is ideal. Very precise. It is best. That's a decent move. That's good. This exchange is fair. It is ideal. Backs off. It is ideal. Now that the rook is on an open file, it is easier to control squares all over the board. That's good. This is not the best approach. It is incorrect. Not the finest, this. It is incorrect. It's alright. That's good. This misses an opportunity to centralize a knight so it controls more squares. This allows the opponent to counter-attack an opposing rook. It is an inaccuracy. This creates a counter-threat against an opposite rook, as opposed to retreating from an attack. It is best. This causes material loss. It is incorrect. This wins material. This is the only move that works. It is a great move. The rook is now in a safe position. It is quite good. This is winning stuff. It is ideal. Among the best actions. It is quite good. This succeeds in capturing a helpless rook. That's good. This exposes a pawn attack. It is ideal. There were worse maneuvers, but there were also much better ones. It is incorrect. This is not the best approach. It is incorrect. Recaptures. It is ideal. Backs off. It is ideal. A powerful play. It is quite good. While not a mistake, that is also not the wisest course of action. That's good. What I would have advised is that. It is ideal. It is a fair deal after all captures. It is quite good. This ignores an opportunity to threaten winning a rook. This allows the opponent to capture the checking bishop. It is an inaccuracy. This exchange is fair. It is ideal. Recaptures. It is ideal. This prevents a queen on the other side from checking. It is ideal. This turns the pawn into a passed pawn, which means no other pawn may oppose it as it advances. It is ideal. This ignores an opportunity to move a piece to safety. This permits the opponent to win a tempo by threatening a queen. It is an inaccuracy. By posing a threat to a queen and compelling it to flee, this wins a tempo. It is ideal. The queen is now on a square that is more secure. It is ideal. The moved pawn advances toward its objective. That's good. Not the finest, this. It is incorrect. This exposes an attack, threatening a pawn. It is excellent. Smooth. One player took the advantage and never let go. White really outplayed black in that one. Black had a good opening, but white was on another level. White was a cut above black in the middle game. This is a fair move. It is good. Smooth. One player took the advantage and never let go. White really outplayed black in that one. Black had a good opening, but white was on another level. White was a cut above black in the middle game.